So fast forward to you are on antidepressants, you are working as a social worker now with children with learning disabilities. What was the trajectory forward for you?
I wasn't in a good place. My manager was an absolute bully. I should have done something about it when on my first day in the job, she said to me, I don't know how we're going to make this work because I didn't want you to get this job.
Wow.
And with hindsight, I should not have gone, well, it's okay because I'm going to prove to you how good I am. I should have gone, I can't work with this woman, do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
But hindsight's great stuff. I'm a lot older and wiser now.
Rin, you are just dropping such powerful nuggets. And I don't know if you were going to talk more about bullying in the workplace, but that is another topic on its own that I think maybe I need to bring you back for. But just
Yeah,
maybe give us a bit more of that, because I think that is something that happens a lot in workplaces where people just swallow the abuse in the workplace as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. And abuse was what I was used to. So I knew the problem was me
You
because,
thought the problem
of
was
course, the
you.
problem was me. And from the beginning, I could never do anything right. And this person, will call her Susan.
Okay.
That wasn't her name.
Mhm.
And Susan wanted to help me to do better. And the way that she helped me to do better was to constantly tell me everything I was doing wrong. So I never got it right. We introduced one-to-one supervision whilst I was working there. And there were 4 of us in the senior team. So there was an officer in charge, myself as deputy, and then 2 assistant officers in charge. And as we introduced supervision, the officer in charge and the 2 assistants, who were the people that Susan wanted to get my job, one of them should have got my job, not me.
Yes.
They all supervised staff, but I was never allowed to. I needed more experience first.
Right.
I was put in difficult positions quite often. The officer in charge's best friend came back from maternity leave. And suddenly, even when I was on a shift on my own, and I can connect it now that it was the shifts when Susan's friend was working, things went wrong on those shifts. Things always went very wrong on those shifts. And I was always pulled into the office to explain it to the officer in charge why things had gone wrong.
Yeah.
And it was always my fault. And it was years later in therapy that I connected back that these shifts were the ones where Susan's friend was working. I To this day, I don't understand those people. I
Yeah.
really don't understand why and how you would decide to make someone's life a misery like that.
That's absolutely true. And
It's that
I think
people are in therapy to deal with people in their lives who won't go to therapy. Those people needed help, but I needed
and
help as well.
I think one explanation that really resonated with me was that hurt people.
Yeah,
So the only people that would go out of their way to make your life miserable at work and identify all the things that you do wrong are probably people who have gone through some sort of abuse, who've been hurt so much by other people. And instead of saying, I will not perpetuate this horrible behavior in the workplace
yeah,
and make someone else miserable, they say, as soon as I have a little bit of power, I am going to go ahead and exercise that power, that same abuse that I experienced on other people. And that's what's going to make me feel powerful.
yeah,
So it never really works. And I think sometimes it takes so much for people to end up learning, and some never learn that no matter how much you abuse the next person,
yeah,
that will never help you to heal from your own abuse.
yeah, yeah,
But when you are able to break the cycle of abuse and say, my manager was horrible with me, I know now what not to do, what not to model, and I will do so much better. And it's only when we take that attitude, that heart posture that we are able to start breaking cycles of abuse in the workplace or at home or in any setting.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you had to go through that and you felt so powerless. Now that you're older and wiser, in hindsight, what should you have done? And what should someone who is working in a toxic environment do today to break that cycle?
The key is to recognize it. And as I say, at the time, I believed it was my fault. So
Mm.
that would have been very difficult for me to do anything about. But if I was in that situation now on day one, I would have challenged that statement of I didn't want you to get this job.
Mm.
I wouldn't have just gone, well, I'll do my best. I would have said, that's a really powerful thing to say. And that makes me
Yes,
feel extremely uncomfortable. I think that's going to make it very difficult for us to work together. I think we
because
should
you're
perhaps
already biased.
speak to a more senior manager about how we resolve this problem.
Yes,
At which point, I'm sure she would have backed down because most bullies are cowards at the end of the day.
yes,
And I
yes.
suspect
So
she would have backed down. But
stand up for yourself.
yep,
Don't be afraid
speak.
to stand
And
up for
don't be
yourself.
afraid to escalate it.
Mhm.
Because by the time I did escalate it to management, and I did, it was about 6 years later, escalate it to management. But by that time, management had already been told a story about me because I'd been there for 6 years about what a problem I was. And so when I
Yes.
went in and said, look, I've got this dreadful situation, it was like, yeah, I've heard about this and your problem is,
Oh, yes.
mm, yeah,
So don't wait. I
yeah,
think what I take away from what you're saying or what I hear from you, Karen, is know your worth. You need
absolutely,
to know your worth. You need to understand what you bring to the table and
absolutely.
don't accept abuse and stand up for yourself. And if even if the management don't believe you or don't act, that then lets you
Well,
know that I'm not valued in this
I was in a
place. I
union.
need to start weighing my options. Oh,
Yes,
you were in a union even.
I was in a union. It never occurred to me to go to the union.
There you go.
Yeah, I had so many options. Um, and I was scared to walk away. I was scared that I was unemployable. I was scared that I was not worth anything.
Believing all the lies
Yeah,
that you were unemployable, that you could never find anything else. It
yes,
really is a mental prison that you have allowed to chain you
yes,
to this situation.
completely, completely. Um, yeah, but it's not all doom and gloom. I did escape eventually.